Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra Semester 1 Review Packet. This is now video number 4, and we're going to be talking about solving and graphing linear inequalities. Now, what I've got up right now, this is directly from the 4.1 notes. Okay, so 4.1 notes, in case you forgot. Okay, you need to know this. If you forget this, put it on your note card. Okay. Another rule that needs to be on your note card is if you multiply or divide by a negative number, you must flip the inequality. Okay, flip the sign. All right, these are all things you need on your note card. If you don't have them, pause the video, copy the stuff down, or just go back to your notes and copy it from there. Okay? All right, let's get started. So it's asking us to solve and graph each inequality and to write the solutions on the given line. Okay? Don't forget that we need to solve and graph. All right, let's get started. So, number 29. Is the m by itself? No. It's being divided by -2, so the inverse of division is multiplication. So I have to divide both sides by a -2. Okay, so those cancel out. The m's all by itself. -14 times -2, well, a negative times a negative is a positive, so that's a positive 28. But what did we just divide by? Yeah, we divided by a negative, bleh, a negative. So if we divide by negative, we have to flip the sign. So I'm writing my answer on the line. M is greater than or equal to 28. We had to flip the sign. And now on the bottom, we have to graph this. Are we opened or closed? Okay, we should be closed. And then we're going to shade to the right because it's greater. Okay. And remember, all that stuff is what I'm getting from right here. Okay. So once again, let's solve for x. We want to get the x by itself. We're following the rules of StatMap. So I'm going to cancel the subtraction first with addition. 8 plus 6 is 14. Is the x by itself? Nope. It's being multiplied, so I have to divide. And then we have 2 is greater than or equal to x. Now, I'm going to go back here real quick just to look at this part. The variable must always be on the left side. Okay? Is the variable on the left side? No. That means we need to rewrite it. So my x is going to come first, and then my 2. And who is the inequality pointing at? It's pointing at the x, right? So when I rewrite it, I want to make sure it is still pointing at the x. So that's really saying x is less than or equal to 2. So once again, we're going to put some numbers on here. And then am I open or closed? Yeah, I'm closed. And then I'm going to shade to the left. Okay, 31. Don't get scared with 31 just because it looks a little bit harder. Okay? First thing we have to do is to distribute. Negative 6 times 3 is negative 18W. Negative 6 times negative 5 is a positive 30. That's the only thing we changed. I know I have to get all my variables to the left-hand side, so I'm just going to do that now. Negative 18 minus 17 is negative 35W. The 30 comes down. Okay, we distributed, we got the variable by itself. Now we're following StatMap, so I'm going to subtract 30 to both sides. And I get negative 35W is less than, well, 30 minus 30 is 0. Now, this doesn't mean no solution, okay? I have to divide by a negative, and when I divide by a negative, what do we do to the sign? That's right, we have to flip it. So we have W is greater than 0. So that's what I'm going to write on the line. W is greater than 0. Now it seems that my little graph disappeared, so I'm just going to make one. At 0, 1, 2, negative 1, negative 2. Am I open or closed? I'm open, and then I shade everything to the right. Okay, number 32. Now, 32, we want to do the same thing. We want to get the x all by itself. The x is being multiplied, so to get rid of multiplication, I need to divide, and I'm going to divide everything. Negative 12 divided by negative 4 is 3. I have the x, and 16 divided by negative 4 is a negative 4. Now I divided by a negative, so I have to flip all my signs. Now, when we're writing this, I want to make sure that it's in order from least to greatest. And see, negative 4 is smaller than 3, so this is why I have to rewrite. So negative 4, the x stays in the middle, and then 3. And now, between the x and the negative 4, the inequality is pointing at the negative 4. Now, between the 3 and the x, the inequality is pointing at the 3. So now that I have that, I can draw my graph, okay? Now I know yours has a bunch of other numbers in between that. I'm being lazy because I don't have the numbers. So at negative 4, we're opened, and at 3, we're closed, and then we shade the center. Okay, so there's the first 4. Let's flip it. Oh, there are my graphs. Well, whoa, whoa, whoa. Get back here. All right, 33. Same thing. We're going to draw the lines down the center, and I want the x all by itself. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to add the 10 to all 3 sides. Negative 8 plus 10 is 2. And then 8 plus 10 is 18. Now, is the x by itself? Nope. We have to divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, is less than x, which is less than or equal to 9. And that's what we're going to write on the line. Did we write that last one on the line? No, Mr. Grice forgot. Okay, so on the line, we would have written negative 4 is less than x, which is less than or equal to 3. Sorry about that. Okay. So The problem with this graph is I don't think we have enough numbers. So I am just going to rewrite it up here. And if you wanted to write all the numbers, that would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 9, and there's 10. Okay, at 1, I'm open, and at 9, we're closed. And then I want all the numbers in between. All right, number 34. Now, number 34, we have two separate inequalities, okay? So we're going to treat them like two separate equations, all right? So first thing we have to do is to add 9 to both sides. And then we have 5n is less than or equal to negative 44 plus 9 is negative 35. And then to get to the n all by itself, I have to divide by 5. Now, am I multiplying or dividing by a negative? No, I'm just dividing, and I'm dividing a negative number. I don't flip the sign for that. Okay? Okay. Now we have to do the blue one. So, following the rules of SADMAP, I want to add first to cancel subtraction. And negative 24 plus 4 is negative 20. Now the n is not by itself, so I'm going to divide. And what am I dividing by? That's right, I'm dividing by negative. So now I flip the sign. And negative 20 divided by negative 4 is a positive 5. So then here's our answer right here. N is less than or equal to negative 7, or n is greater than 5. Okay, and I think it's the same thing that we don't have enough room on these graphs with these numbers. So there's negative 7, there's 5, negative 7, I'm closed and I shade to the left. And at 5, we're open and I shade to the right. Okay. Any questions on those two? Okay. Now, it's asking us to graph each linear equality. So the first thing we have to do is graph, and then we have to give a sample solution for each one. All right. So we are graphing x is less than negative 2. So normally when we're graphing these, I want to know what's my slope, what's my y-intercept, but for this equation, it's a special case. And x equals, or x is less than or equal to, this is telling me that this is going to be a vertical line. Vertical lines have an undefined slope, okay? However, I do need to know that when I'm graphing this, that this is going to be a dashed line, okay? We also dashed as open points, okay? Now, if you forget if it's a vertical or horizontal, this is where we do our little number line. We know our number line, our little table. We know that x is negative 2, so I'm putting x is negative 2. And then I'm going to pick a positive, 0, and a negative. So those are going to be the 3 points that I graph. Negative 2, 5. So negative 2, 5, I'm open. Negative 2, 0. And then negative 2, negative 5. And that proves that this is a dashed line, okay, and a vertical line. Now, we normally shade above or below, but I can't shade above or below here because it's a vertical line. So we're either going to shade to the left or to the right. This is where we have to go back to our inequality. Our inequality is less, and less means left. Okay? So I need to shade everything to the left of this. And there we go. Now, the next thing it's asking us for is a sample solution. That can be anywhere that's shaded. I don't care. All right, as long as it's in this shaded section, I'm fine with that. The point that I used, -3, -4. All right, number 36. Now, 36, as I'm trying to look at it, the first thing that I notice is that it's not in slope-intercept form. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite it over here, and then we're going to solve for y. Okay, so if I'm solving for y, the first thing I'm going to do is subtract the 2x to the other side. And we get 3y is less than -2x plus 12. Now, the y is not by itself yet, so I need to divide by 3. And now we have y is less than -2/3 x plus 4. Okay, so my slope is a -2/3. My y-intercept is 0, 4. Is it going to be open or closed? Yeah, it's going to be open, and open, like we said in the last one, is dashed. And then it's less than, which means we're going to shade below. So that's all the information that we need right there, that we're starting at 0, 4. And I'm going down 2 over 3, down 2 over 3, down 2 over 3. And we're going to do that in the opposite direction to complete our pattern. Okay, and now that we've got that, I'm actually going to use my ruler right now to do the dashed lines to make sure everything is nice and straight. And the other thing that I'm missing is I'm missing my arrows. So I'm going to make sure to add my arrows in. Okay, and then what did we say we were going to shade, above or below? That's it, we're going to shade below. I bet you guys wish you had a super highlighter like that. Okay, now the only thing that we're missing is our sample solution. I'm going to be real boring and just pick the origin. Okay, and I can do that because it's in the shaded section. Okay, so that is 0, 0. All right, I think this is the last one, right? Yep. Okay, so a couple things we need to do. It's telling us to write the inequality of the graph below. Okay, so excuse me, we need to know what our slope is. We need to know what the y-intercept is. Those are the first things we need to know. So there's our y-intercept. That's at 0, 2. My slope, we went up 3 and over 4. Now I need to figure, since it's an inequality because we're shading, I need to know a couple things. Is it open or closed? Yeah, it's open. And did we shade above or below? Above. So when I'm writing this, open and above is the greater than symbol. 3/4 x plus 2. And that's it. If you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. I know this video is a little bit longer than the others because there's a lot of stuff to go through. Okay. Make sure to write things down on your note cards. And that's it. This is Mr. Grice for Algebra Unit 4 semester review. Thanks for watching.